Hey, this is part 3. How you doing? Joe McCall here. Gavin Timms over there. How you doing, Gavin?
Good, Joe. How are you?
Awesome. Guys, we're talking about our PDF report that you can get for free. It's a 9-page PDF at www.reiproof.com/7steps. The link is in the description of this video, so go check it out. And previous 2 videos, we talked about number 1, finding your buyers first. The second step you need to take is lowering your offers. Okay. And then our next one is number 3. Where'd it go? Here it is. Learn creative financing. All right. I'm already seeing it, Gavin. A lot of sellers are starting to accept our lease option offers. A lot more sellers. We're even getting calls from realtors saying, hey, tell me more about this lease option thing. When before the realtors would be like, no, we're getting multiple offers. So we're not going to have any problem selling this thing. They're selling it the same day, multiple offers above asking price. Now sellers are kind of panicking and they're like more open. If they want to get the price that they wanted to before, they're going to need to be open to creative financing. So Gavin, what is creative financing? You talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's multiple ways. I guess creative financing comes under multiple buckets, right? So a few of them would be lease options, which could be a sandwich lease option or an assignment lease option. A sandwich lease option being where you're staying in the middle of the deal so you can make some money up front. You can cash flow and make money on the back end by staying in the middle. You can assign the lease option. So it's like wholesaling a lease option. Okay. You've got seller finance or owner finance. Okay. Where you're taking over the property over terms and the seller's pretty much acting as the bank. There's subject to if you want to take the mortgage over, if that's necessary. All these ways of the creative bucket is to give more options so you can close more deals. And as Joe said, it becomes now a much easier negotiation and will be in months to come because they want to hold out for that price that's now not selling on the market, that price that they thought was going to sell, but they're still emotionally attracted to not giving up any equity or lowering that price. That's where over the right terms, we can come in and make an offer where we can actually make that work, right? And if we've made a cash offer and we've learned how to position this, we've positioned a cash offer so we can come up more, give more money, again, over the right terms so we can actually help the seller out. We get a good deal because we've got it on the right terms. We're going to be cash flowing. We might have some equity or we're going to build equity as we go through the term time. And then the seller wins because they get the price that they wanted. So you're going to see this as a much easier way to be able to negotiate and lock these deals up.
Yeah. And let me kind of walk you through this. Again, you can get this PDF report here at www.reiproof.com/7steps. I think you have to do that but the link is in the video description. So go check that out. You can get this PDF for free. And we just walk through, it's only 9 pages long, walking through those steps. So this is what the page looks like when you go there. Now, what we're talking about here is, and this is a calculator that our students use that kind of just helps you come up with multiple options. We're talking about giving sellers options. If you want to make yourself stand out, you want to be able to you want to do more deals, you can go from getting 1 out of 30 offers accepted to maybe 3 or 4 or 5 out of 30 offers accepted when you start giving the sellers options. Okay. And so this little calculator I built, you just kind of walk through. It helps you come up with cash offer, lease option offers, and owner financing offers. Okay. And this is just an example property I put in here. You get the comps. When we're looking at comps, we're just taking the Zillow estimate value, Redfin, PropStream, whatever, and we kind of average them out. Now, having said that, you still want to verify this number looking at what is your current competition. If you have a similar property that's selling for 125, well, you need to lower the ARV to 125,000. Okay, whatever that is. Then you click next. Now we're in the cash offer section. We talked about this before. You know, normally when you would offer maybe 75%, maybe now you need to offer 65% of ARV. Maybe before, if you were figuring $10 in repairs, you need to maybe do $15 a square foot in repairs or something, right? Now, a lot of times when you're doing this, you're going to see, depending on the offers, the method that you're doing for cash offers, and this is particularly true. I'm seeing this with vacant land right now. So one of the things I'm working with my students on is showing them, All right, so if if priced, for example, is one of the tools we use, tells you to offer this, and the other method you're looking at Zillow tells you to offer this, it's more important now than ever to pick the lower one. Pick the lower estimate. If you're looking at, if you're looking at a property that you think might rent for $700 to $800 a month, go with the $700 a month. If you're looking at repairs that might be 30 grand to 40 grand, go with the 40 grand. If you're looking for comps or cash offer of either 53 or 70,000, depending on which method you're using, go with the lower one, right? Now, so for example, here, I'm just going to put a $500 earnest money. Let's give them a deadline of the 15th. All right. Now, when it comes to lease option offers, this is an example of a lease option or owner financing offer. And this is something we give to our students when we walk them through. We still, maybe before I'd get 15% equity. Now I want 18% equity. All right. And the market rents on this property, it's worth, it's worth 125 grand. Well, if it rents for maybe 1,000 to 1,100, no, it's better, more realistic, 1,100 to 1,200. So I'm going to figure on 1,100 in rent. Cash flow, I want at least 25% of the rent in cash flow. I'm going to give the seller $1,100 monthly. So before, I would try to negotiate, at least 3 years. I'd try to get 5. But now with the market uncertainty, you can bet I'm going to try my hardest to negotiate 5 years instead of 3 years on a lease option. You need to give yourself more time, especially with creative deals. You don't want to paint yourself in a corner and only give yourselves, a limited amount of time to get somebody else into that house and sell it. Does that make sense? So you've got to, I would say now, minimum 5 years as we're transitioning into a buyer's market. Okay. Wholesaling lease option offer. This is like whatever the price the seller wants. Okay. I can do now. Yeah, I'm not going to dive too deep into that, but when it comes to either a sandwich lease option, which you are going to keep for cash flow, or a wholesaling lease option, I would suggest probably doing more lease option assignments, more wholesaling lease options in this kind of a market, because you don't know what's going to be happening in 3 to 5 years. Sometimes it's better to make a quick nickel than a slow dime. Giving the sellers options. And you'll see here in a second, I can give the seller a higher price if they're willing to meet my terms. All right. So anyway, if we wanted to offer owner financing, let's just say I'm not going to do any discount. I'm not going to do any down payment. I'm going to give them principal only payments of 50%. And so let's say they want interest. So I'll put 5 down. I'll do a discount of 5%. I'll put 5% down. And they want interest, so I'll do 4% interest and balloon in 10 years. These are just some examples of what you can offer. And this calculator, then, I want to show you what it looks like to do different options. So I'm going to download this one that I have here. And let me just open it up. Gavin, talk about this a little bit. We have Dustin that works with us. And while I open this, because it's going to take me a second here, can you talk a little bit about what we're seeing on the subject to side of things, getting more sellers to accept us take over their payments? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, Dustin, we do some creative deals together. He's actually in the coaching program as well. So he partners with our clients, helps negotiate the deals as well. But yeah, the same things. It's all about situational, right? All of these deals, it's hard to say, well, you should do this deal at this time of year because of this is what we're seeing. You have to look at the individual deal. You have to look at what the situation is with the seller and how are you going to solve that problem. And sometimes, we have one right now that we're looking at. They've only recently bought it within the last 4 or 5 months, and now they want to sell it, and they don't have enough equity to potentially sell it.
Yeah.
And they're behind a couple of months already on payment. So it's already beginning. And that's where sometimes we can come in and take that mortgage over. We can bring their payment current, maybe sometimes even put some money in their pocket, as long as we can get it cash flowing. So that's what we're looking at. And you need to be because you can't learn all of these things, guys. If you're watching and you're new, you still got to focus on one thing. You've still got to get one thing working before you start coming in trying to do everything, because you'll start to mix the offers up. So everything's about timing, not only for the market, but for you as an individual trying to invest. You can't come in and try and do everything. That's kind of in the coaching why we offer that as an option, where if you just get the seller to say, hey, would you sell on some kind of terms? It can be as little as that. And they say, yeah, if you could get me close to my price, I'd definitely be interested in that. Then we get on the phone and help you negotiate that. And
that's huge. That is huge, because like what I'm showing you here, I go through it really fast and you'll be like, oh man, that's awesome. But like, I have no idea what you just did. How can the numbers go up like this with different options? What on earth? Don't worry about it. If you're working with us, we'll get on the phone. If you got a seller that says, yeah, I would consider maybe leasing my property for a little bit and then selling it, or letting you take over my mortgage or do owner financing or whatever, we'll get on the phone with you and that seller and help you close the deal. So anyway, in this calculator, it gives me what I call a 3-option letter of intent. And depending on how you structure this, it gives you an all cash offer. You can see right here of 53 grand, a lease purchase option of 88 grand, or owner financing with principal only payments, 0 down, of 107,000. So for me, I don't care which one they pick, right? But you can see how giving them options is going to help you close more deals. Now, we're not saying the first time you talk to a seller, if they want to sell now, you should give them all 3 options. You need to spend some time digging into what do they really need now. A lease purchase may not work for them. They may not have enough equity, right? Maybe they have a ton of equity. You don't want to do a lease purchase. You should do maybe an owner financing deal, or you should, if they're behind on payments and you need to get the loan current, you should probably do a subject to and take title to the property. All right. But the point is, you want to be able to give the sellers options. And what we like to do and what we coach our students is like, when you're talking to the seller, if it's a cold lead or they're just not ready yet, go ahead and print this report. This is a 7-page package you can send to them, a cover letter, the 3 different options, and then 1 or 2 pages explaining what lease purchase is, and then explaining having frequently asked questions. You can customize this and send it to the sellers. But this is just going to help you close more deals. And here's our whole point. The sellers are becoming more and more open to these kinds of offers. Make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Very good. If you want this PDF report where we dive deeper in talking about this stuff, go to www.reiproof.com/7steps, reiproof.com/7steps. The next step is going to be, should we talk about it? Give them a teaser. Let's see if I can open it up here. The next step is going to be lining up the money for your buyers. This next thing that we're going to be talking about is huge, because if you can offer your buyers financing, investor buyers, retail buyers, if you can offer them financing because it's harder to get now, you're going to sell your deals at a premium really fast. We're going to be talking about how to do that as well. All right.
See you on the next one.
Yep. We'll see. We got some comments here. Oh yeah. Somebody says this calculator is fire. Nice. And then somebody else has some weird comments. Someone else here says, I'm having troubles locating owners of abandoned vacant homes. One of the things that we like to do real quick on this, put some Post-it notes on their doors and talk to the neighbors. A real quick trick, if you want to talk to a seller of an abandoned home and they're not responding to any of your calls, put a for sale sign in the front yard. You'll get some calls from an angry homeowner. And that's how you find them. All right. We'll talk soon in the next video. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.